What's going on, everybody? It's Ryan Montana. Welcome to Fishing with Ryan. Today we have a very special video. We're going to tell you every fishing rod you will ever need for fishing Southern California. Now, with that being said, these are also going to be very budget-friendly ones. I'm your average Joe guy. You know, I go out and I buy what's good for the money. I try to get the best bang for the buck. With that being said, today we're going to go over both fresh and saltwater. So we're going to have a lot of really cool and interesting rods. I think some of you guys, especially fishing back east, I'd be really curious as to hear your opinion or see what you guys are fishing or keeping in your quiver of arrows, so to say. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. So I wanted to start off with the biggest rod I own. Just kidding. Ha 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 ha. This right here is my micro light. I think it's a 5.6. It is a 5.6. It can handle a lure up to a 1/4 of an ounce. This rod, I primarily use it for trout fishing. As you can see, it's rigged up with the Carolina rig right now. I just had some power bait on it. One of my absolute favorite rods to catch fish on. I also do some bluegill, some pan fishing on this. I will also be using it for saltwater this year. I want to do some corbina on it. Last year I tried a heavier rod, and I think corbina being so line shy, kind of got scared away from the line. Scared away from the line. But yeah, this is tiny. I think this is a 15 crank, or maybe I might be a 20, little tiny crank, or it's a 2000. Sorry, so it's a 20 or 2000 little crank. I think this thing cost $25 on sale at Bass Pro Shop. And this is just a little Berkeley cherrywood rod. This rod was another $20 purchase, I think, off Amazon or something like that. So super simple, it gets the job done. Super fun for catching fish. If you guys haven't fished an ultralight, light, or something like that at all, like, you guys got to get on it. It makes fun. So the next rod we're going to get into is going to be everyone's favorite, you know, your bait caster bass rod. So we'll pull mine out. Tell you a little bit about what I'm using. So this is a 7.2 medium heavy. If you are getting into bass fishing at all, and you know you want a good first rod or something like that, 7.2, 7 to 7.3, 7.4 medium heavy. It's gonna pretty much have all your grounds covered. Yeah, this thing is great for chatterbaits. I love using it for any kind of moving lure, really. Top water. Oh my gosh, you got a frog with this. This little reel that's on here is just a cheap little Bass Pro 25. Sorry, this is how much I care about my stuff. I take good care of it, but I don't take time to remember all the names and such. But yeah, this little 25, this little Bass Pro Shop reel, it's been all right. It's been pretty good. There was definitely some adjustments. It's not like the best bait casting rod. I think I bought the combo together for about $100. Maybe it was $90. So for having the combo for $90, that's a pretty good setup. However, as you can see, this is not the rod that normally comes with it. I did break that rod. Unfortunately, broke pretty quick after buying it. And I went ahead and upgraded to this carbon fiber speed stick by Lew's. This has been a great rod. Like I said, I like to do like a lot of frogging, top water stuff on this, moving lure stuff. It's stiff, but it's still got good action. So, you know, when you are fishing like something a little bit lighter, it definitely still responds. However, I do have a bass rod that I use. Well, it's an all-around rod that I'll show you guys next. It's my absolute favorite. So this is my little Akuma. I think this is also a 7 foot. Yeah, this is a 7 foot medium heavy. They call it a medium heavy. It's not a medium heavy. It's a medium light. So funny story, when this actually we call my wife's rod. This is the rod she loves to use. It's turned out to be an absolutely fantastic rod. I can use this for just about anything. It is a little bit on the lighter end. I would call it like a medium, even maybe a medium light. But working the wacky rigs, any kind of finesse, like this is really fun. Drop shot, super fun on. Again, What's great about this rod is it is pretty light, so I do fish trout on it. You know, I switch my leader out for 6 or 8 pound test. You'll see a lot of my rigs are fished out for trout. I've been trying to get my trouts for the year in, so been going after that, leaving the bass alone a little bit. But yeah, so this is just a little Akuma Rocks 40. This actually came with the rod, and that rod actually broke as well. The rod wasn't as great, so we replaced it with this Akuma Stratus. And this I got for, I think it's $25 at Dick's Sporting Goods. I would buy 100 of these. These things are fantastic. It's also a 2-piece. I always believe everyone should have a one saltwater 2-piece, one freshwater 2-piece. Just that way, whenever the wife's got the truck and you got the car, you can still go out fishing. You know, so yeah, can't say more positive things about this. This is a Kuma Stratus V1. I don't speak Roman, so that's what that's all about. You know, so but fantastic. Oh, and the reel price, the whole combo I bought with this original reel was only $20. So looking at like a $40 setup, and fabulous. So the next rod we're going to get into, very similar to the last one, except for this one's a little heavier. So this is really a do-all rod and reel. This is going to go ahead and be a 7.2. It's going to be a medium heavy. So like I said, guys, anything between 7 foot, 7.4 medium heavy, it's going to be solid for whatever you're trying to do. Unless you really want to get particular, get like a little specific rod for maybe like a jerk bait or something like that, which you don't need to do. I jerk on this and I jerk on that. I'm always jerking. So getting into this one, this is like I said, 7.2 medium heavy. This is a Lew's Mox Smash. I know you guys are probably all familiar with the Mox series. I bought this one because frankly it was $100 and I didn't really need much, so I went ahead and bought this. It does fine. It's really thick, really heavy, so it still can really cope with like the chatterbaits and stuff like that, which I like. But it still finesses pretty well. It does do the wacky really nice. It does the drop really nice. Actually, I do shaky head on this a lot. I think this is probably my favorite one for shaky head. I just like to have that little bit stiffer rod when I'm dragging on the bottom, any kind of like Ned, Shake Carolina kind of setup. So really good rod. This whole setup was $100. Line wise, sorry I didn't go over the line with the other ones, but running 15-pound braid on this. I always run a carbon fiber or fluorocarbon leader. Usually about 12 pounds, anywhere from 10 to 12 pounds fluorocarbon. But this 15 braid. My Akuma is also going to be 15-pound braid. My bait caster, that's running a 20-pound braid. I like a little bit thicker. I might even consider going 30, to be honest, because the bait caster just seems to cast better with the little bit bigger wire on there. Then for the microlight, right now it's got 8 pound on it. I would do 6 if I was feeling frisky, but 8's fine, 8's fine. Got plenty of fish on 8. 8 is great. Okay. Goes ahead and covers up our freshwater kind of quiver for Southern California. I know I didn't talk about much fish about it, but I'll tell you right now, out here in Southern California, we're getting a lot of trout, largemouth, spotted, striper, catfishing. Catfishing's always good. That'll be the next rod I'll kind of go over. It's a crossover I use between a saltwater rod and my catfishing rod. So we'll go over that next. But catfishing, pan fishing, I probably said pan fishing. But just your basics, we don't have any sturgeon down here like they do up north. I would love to get behind a sturgeon. I've never even been sturgeon fishing, so I'm not even going to go down that road with you. But yeah, that pretty much covers our main focus of freshwater fishing right there in those rods. Like I said, those are all really budget-friendly rods. Each one of them is under $100. Actually, I think the Bass Pro one, once I bought that second rod, I think that other rod was a little bit more, but all around $100. You guys know what I'm saying. So without any further ado, we'll get into the saltwater section of our video. So we're going to start off with the rod that I'm talking about. I also use for freshwater at times. So this rod, this is probably my most special rod. This rod was sitting in my grandpa's shed, garage, whatever it is, that he's got at his house for at least 30 years. It's just an old Abu Garcia bruiser. I actually think they still make this rod. But yeah, the whole combo is 40 bucks. Of course, it doesn't come with this reel. I did some modifications to it, but the rod is said to be a 7-foot medium heavy. It is not a medium heavy. I mean, like, that's insane. You know, this is just a 15 or a 1 ounce or 15 ounce egg weight on there, and it's already been in the rod. So very, very cheap rod. For me, it was free. Like I said, I found it, but they still do sell it. So when I got the combo from my grandpa, the brake on the reel was broken. It was gross looking. I didn't want anything to do with it, so I took it off and I tossed it. I went on Amazon and I got me this Cast King, and I think this Cast King was probably around 50 bucks too. It wasn't very expensive. It could have been more than 50 bucks. But anyways, this is a fantastic. This is a 3000 spinning reel. I use this for everything. So like I said, I use it for catfishing, but I use this a lot for saltwater. This is my favorite surf fishing reel, which a lot of people look at me crazy like, oh man, you're using a 7-foot for surf fishing. But you know, I get that Lucky Craft and I start flinging it out there. It's rated for 1 to 5 ounce, so it's kind of perfect for you know, some light offshore use. I've used this in, you know, about 200 feet of water, and I was catching some whitefish and some calicos on it, and it did fine. It was actually really, really fun to catch those fish on there. As far as the line goes on this, guys, it's going to be a 30-pound braided. I usually run about a 20-pound fluorocarbon on my saltwater stuff or my catfishing stuff. Do step that up a little bit. Got this cool little grip wrap on Amazon. This one's already thrashed and covered in guts. This rod probably gets the most action out of all of my fishing poles. Absolutely love this. But again, you know, 70 bucks. It's going to do everything. It looks great. I think if you want to get down to specifics, these little rod covers I think are like 15 bucks or something like that. Hit it on with the blow dryer. So yeah, fantastic rod, great rod. Like I said, use it for catfishing, use it at the pier, use it on the boat, use it in the surf, wherever you want to fish. This thing is really, really good. And with that light tip, it kind of does make it feel like you're fly fishing almost when you got the braid on there. So when you're hooking that Lucky Craft, ooh, what a feeling. You know what I'm saying? All right. So next rod we're going to get into here is going to be another saltwater rod that can be used both ways. So this guy here, this is a Penn Prevail 2. It's 7 foot. It's heavy, fast action. So sorry I had to read that off to you instead of just knowing that. Like I said, I just fish them. You know, I look at them when I'm buying them and I fish them. But yeah, this is fantastic. This is a little bait caster setup. This is like a kind of almost like a catfish kind of reel, but I use this thing for top water. So if I'm doing calico top water, my wife uses this for surf fishing. This is actually technically her rod. This is one of our most expensive rods. This reel costs about 100 bucks. And this rod I think was somewhere up there in the $70, $80 range. I couldn't tell you 100%, but I knew it wasn't cheap. It's for my wife, so you know, she gets whatever she wants. But yeah, so nice little Lew's bait caster. This is the SC600. I will tell you that sometimes having this does piss me off. I think the big thing for me is just the button position. It's so comfortable in your hand. So when you cast it, you put your finger back there, and sometimes you hold it down, and then when you go to reel it, you're not in gear because you're kind of slightly holding it down. But that's, you know, once we got adjusted to that, it does all right. Really fantastic. Again, 30-pound to usually 20-pound fluorocarbon. It's funny, I got all my rods set up on a Carolina rig today. It's just been one of those weeks. Fantastic rod though. Again, probably not the most budget friendly, but you know, you want to treat yourself to something a little bit nicer, you go with this. But honestly, if I were to choose between this one and the last one I showed you, I'd probably go with the last one. especially if you're looking just for one good rod for kind of doing everything. All right, so that brings us to our last rod. This is the Big Daddy. All right, so this is going to be my primarily boat rod. It's again really budget friendly. I know it's going to not sound like it, but when you look into big setups like this, they get real expensive real quick. So this is a Penn Rampage. This is going to go ahead and be 7.6 heavy. This thing's rated up to 100 pounds on the braid, so you could definitely take some weight. Now this rod right now though is set up with this Penn Senator, just your good old classic Penn Senator. These things are bulletproof. Fantastic reel. You know, if you just need a get it done, be safe reel to have with you, I would buy this. And also I would just buy this first before I bought anything else fancy, just because I know this would always last me. But yeah, fantastic. I think I got about 600 yards of 50-pound on here, so it's really good. I use this a lot for rock fishing. I use it for calico. I've used it for sheep's head, any kind of offshore stuff. Really, I'll be using it for white sea bass this year. I'm gonna catch white sea bass on this year, so that's gonna be pretty fantastic. I hope y'all come along for that. I'll try to bring you along. The only thing I will say about this, so the last two rods I'll take on the boat with me as well, and I'll do a lot of top water and some light fishing action and stuff like that. But this rod right here and those two rods gets me done 99% of the time. Now the only other rod I would really want, and it's more of just a preference, it's not really a necessity, is I'd want about a 7'5" or 7'3", somewhere in there, spinning rod that I could put 65, 80-pound line on, so I could go fish top water, because you can't cast this thing at all. So when you go out for tuna and stuff, you want to have something you could throw those diamond jigs and the surface irons on. So that's something I would add, but this will do the yo-yo jigging and all that stuff just fine. If I was tuna fishing, or if I did live a little bit farther south of San Diego, I'd probably have 65-pound in here, maybe 80, just depending on how much I get. We do get pretty deep out here, so that's the only caveat there. With adding more line, you can't put as much. Anyways, I hope y'all liked the video. Before we go, total price on this rod, looking at, I think it was about $150 on this, on the Senator. Could be $115, don't quote me, somewhere in that $100 $150 range. And this rod was about $90. So you're looking at about $250. $250 gets you a solid setup. You can go on any boat, beat any fisherman just fine. Anyways though, thank you guys so much for watching. That's the video for this week. Let me know down in the comments what other videos you guys like to see. I know we're trying to get some fishing videos in there, but the weather has just been terrible. I've had a lot of other things going on, so we'll get